The Ron's girl who fell in love with the wrong client. No more emotions. I will use them before they use me. Men are ATMs, nothing more.
People say love is blind, but in Lagos, love is also expensive, dangerous, and sometimes deadly. And in the story you're about to hear, love didn't just blind a girl, it destroyed her world, shook a whole city, unmasked a hidden empire, and exposed a secret that had been buried for 22 years. This is the story of Mira, a Ron's girl who fell in love with the wrong client, a client whose smile hid a graveyard, a man whose heart held a secret that belonged to her. Sit tight, because after this story, you will think twice before judging anyone and before trusting anyone. Mira wasn't born bad. In fact, she used to be the kind of girl neighbors pointed at and said, God will bless this one. Born in Abia State, raised by a single father, Mira was brilliant. The type who read by candlelight and still topped her class. She dreamt of becoming a nurse, helping people, saving lives. But life has a way of turning dreams into dust. Her father, Mr. Okpara, fell sick when she was 16. Not ordinary sickness, kidney failure. He needed weekly dialysis, and when the money ran out, the hospital turned him away like he wasn't a human being. Mira watched her father dying slowly. Neighbors promised help, then vanished. Church members said, we will put you in prayers. Her father coughed blood while they prayed. At 17, Mira picked up what little hope she had left and ran away to Lagos, thinking she would work, make money, and come home a hero. Lagos laughed at her. Hard. She slept in uncompleted buildings. She hawked pure water. Men tried using her for free. One night, she slept under Oshodi Bridge and woke up to find her small bag stolen. She cried until she couldn't breathe. Then life offered her a choice, suffer or survive. That was the night Mira became a runes girl. At first, she hated the touching, the pretending, the lies. But she needed 150,000 naira every week for her father's dialysis and another 2.5 million naira for the transplant. Runs paid. Fast. Within 2 years, she transformed into Mira Blaze. Famous on Instagram, flawless body, expensive wigs, soft lifestyle, fine girl with dangerous eyes. But even though she looked like every man's fantasy, she was hollow inside. Her father eventually died, and the day he was buried, Mira stood far away, hidden behind large sunshades, wearing a wig that didn't belong to her, pretending she wasn't crying. From that day, she told herself, no more emotions. I will use them before they use me. Men are ATMs, nothing more. But destiny has a wicked sense of humor, because the one thing she swore off completely was exactly what trapped her later: love. Mira's clients were usually old, loud, married, insecure, or sugar daddy material. Some were young boys from rich homes, but he he was different. His name was Dante, not Nigerian, mixed race, Nigerian mother, Italian father, early 30s, tall, quiet, handsome in a disarming way. He booked her through a private concierge service. No haggling, no send me more pictures, no stress. His profile simply said, one night booking, price accepted, no additional requests. Mira rolled her eyes when she saw it. Simple men were usually the freakiest, but when she arrived at the hotel suite, something felt off. Dante opened the door wearing a plain black shirt and jeans. No gold chains, no arrogant smirk, no fine girl, how are you? He just looked at her for 3 seconds and said, you're early. Not you're beautiful. Not wow. Just you're early. Mira found herself disarmed. She didn't like that feeling. Inside the suite, there were no bottles, No friends hiding, no nonsense, just quiet music playing and scented candles. Is this a date or a booking? Mira thought. She waited for him to make a move. Instead, Dante asked, do you want water or juice? She blinked. This man was already confusing her. He behaved like someone who booked a painting, not a woman. Mira had been in this job for almost 3 years. She had perfected the art of seduction. But with Dante, she couldn't play her usual games. He asked her questions that felt illegal. What's your real name? What was your dream before Lagos happened? What do you fear? Ron's clients didn't ask this. They asked, you get spare condom? Or how many rounds? But Dante, he wasn't interested in her body. He was studying her soul. The most confusing part? He didn't touch her. Not once. At the end of the night, he simply said, you're worth more than what you're selling. And he transferred double her fee. Mira left the hotel suite confused, annoyed, and curious. Men like Dante were dangerous, not because they had money, but because they had a way of making your heart betray your head. She blocked his number, but destiny wasn't done. 2 weeks later, Mira ran into him again at a private charity event in Ikoyi. She had escorted a billionaire as his date. Dante was there too. Their eyes met across the hall. Mira looked away quickly. She didn't want trouble, but trouble came. Softly. After the event, Dante approached her. You blocked me, he said calmly. I block many people, she replied. But you remembered me. It wasn't a question, it was a fact. He offered her a job, not as a runs girl, as a consultant for his company. Mira laughed. Sir, I don't do office work. It's not office work, he said. It's travel planning, events. You're smart. You observe people. That's a skill. She wanted to walk away, but somehow she said, send me the details. That night she stared at his message for hours. Was he playing a game? Was he trying to save her? Or was he genuinely different? Against her better judgment, Mira said yes. And that yes was the beginning of the biggest mistake of her life. The next 2 months were strange. Dante didn't treat her like a runs girl. He treated her like a human being. He paid her salary, not pocket money. Actual salary. He invited her to meetings, taught her strategies, encouraged her ideas. No touching, no flirting, just respect. Slowly, the walls around her heart began to melt. She hated that feeling. She fought it. But love is a sly thief. It enters when you're not looking. One evening, after a long day of work, they sat on a balcony overlooking the ocean. Mira tried to speak, but tears rolled down her face. I don't know why I'm crying, she whispered. Dante held her hand gently and said, because you're healing. Those words broke something inside her. That night, they kissed. Soft, slow, dangerous. She fell deeply. She didn't know she was falling into a trap built long before she was born. Mira knew Dante was wealthy, but she didn't know how wealthy, or how powerful, or how dangerous. One day she arrived at his office early. His door wasn't fully closed. Inside, she heard him speaking Italian fluently, then English. No, we don't eliminate anyone until I confirm, he said. Eliminate? Her chest tightened. Then she heard, the girl doesn't know who she is yet. The girl? Which girl? Her? Before she could process, the meeting ended. Dante came out smiling as usual, but Mira noticed something. He locked his office drawer with a biometric code, and she saw a gun inside. Her heart dropped. Who was this man? That night she searched his name online. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No LinkedIn, no Facebook, no Instagram, not even old articles. Dante didn't exist on the internet, which meant one thing: he was hiding. 3 months into their relationship, Mira moved into his Lekki penthouse. She thought she knew him. She believed she found love. But one night, everything changed. Around 2 a.m., banging on the door woke her up. 8 armed men stormed in with masks. Mira Okpara, we need you to come with us. Her name, not Dante's. Hers. They dragged her outside. Dante tried to intervene, but one of them shouted, "Stand down! This doesn't concern you." It didn't concern him. Why? They pushed her into a black SUV and blindfolded her. Mira cried hysterically, thinking she had been kidnapped. But when they removed her blindfold, she found herself inside a government interrogation facility. A woman in a navy suit walked in and said, "Your name is not Mira Okpara. Your real name is Mirabella Dante." Mira froze. What what are you saying? The woman placed a file on the table. Inside it was a photograph of a newborn baby and two adults standing beside her. One of the adults was Dante, and the baby looked exactly like Mira. Mira felt sick, everything blurred. The officer leaned forward. "Mira, listen carefully. You are not who you think you are. You are the biological daughter of Dante's father, Don Valentino Dante, an international mafia boss." Mira shook her head violently. "No, my father was Mr. Okpara." The officer sighed. "He wasn't your biological father. He found you abandoned near a market in Abia State during a raid 22 years ago. He raised you as his own. He saved you." Mira's hands trembled. Why? Why did Dante find me? Why didn't he tell me?" The officer exchanged glances with her partner. "Because Don Valentino died 2 years ago and left behind billions in offshore accounts, accounts locked with family DNA." Mira blinked. "What does that have to do with me?" "Everything. You are the only living biological heir. Dante needs you to unlock the inheritance." Mira gasped. "So, Dante didn't love me?" The officer sighed deeply. "We don't know, but we know he has been looking for you for 6 years." Mira's heart shattered. 6 years, long before he met her, before he fell in love, before everything. She wasn't a girlfriend. She was an asset, a key, a tool, a means to an end. Dante was brought into the room and scoffed. "Mira, listen to me," he began. "Don't call me that," she screamed. He looked broken, genuine pain in his eyes. "Yes, my father left money. Yes, I found you years ago, but I..." She cut him off. "You used me. You manipulated me. You pretended to care. You pretended to help me. You pretended to love me." His eyes filled with tears. "No, I didn't pretend to love you. That part was real." The officers separated them. That night, Mira was taken back to her old apartment under police protection. She cried until the pillow was soaked. Her heart was broken, her identity shattered, her trust destroyed. She didn't know who to hate, herself, Dante, or fate. A week later, government officials offered her a deal. They would protect her if she allowed them to use her access to the Dante family accounts to seize the mafia assets, billions. But accepting the deal meant one thing: Dante would be imprisoned for life. Mira was torn. Dante lied, but he saved her, used her, but also loved her. To make matters worse, one night someone slipped a note under her door. "Don't trust anyone. They need the money, not you." There was no signature. Fear consumed her. She didn't know who was on her side, or if she even had a side. 2 days later, an old woman arrived claiming she was Dante's aunt. She told Mira the real truth. Dante was not using her. Dante was protecting her. His father, the mafia boss, had enemies everywhere. When Mira was born, they tried to kill her, fearing she would one day inherit power. So Dante's father hid her in Nigeria to save her. Dante found out about her years later. and spent everything trying to locate her. When he finally found her, living as a runs girl, his heart broke. He hired her not to use her, but because it was the only way to keep her close without scaring her away. Mira cried again, harder than she ever cried in her life. Everything she believed was wrong. Government officials came back. Mira, we need your answer. On the same day, Dante's aunt brought documents proving that if the government seized the money, Mira would be targeted by dozens of mafia enemies. She would never be safe. Mira stood between two worlds: the government who wanted the money, Dante, who loved her but lied, the mafia who wanted her dead, her past full of pain, her future filled with uncertainty. She made her decision. It shocked everyone. Mira agreed to unlock the accounts. Government officials rejoiced, but when they opened the vault system, it was empty, completely empty. Dante had moved the money 48 hours earlier using a secondary code only he knew. The government turned on Mira instantly. You played us, but Mira smiled coldly. No, I played the people who wanted to use me. As they tried to arrest her, international agents stepped in with documents clearing her. Turns out Dante expected everything and had prepared protection for her. He may have lied, but he also sacrificed everything, including his freedom, to keep her alive. Mira realized the truth. Dante didn't fall in love with the wrong person. Shivako did. She fell in love with a man who lived in shadows, who broke laws, who broke hearts, but who would give his life for her. Dante went to prison for past crimes, but not a day passed without him sending Mira a letter. She visited him once, just once. He looked thinner, calmer, almost peaceful. She whispered, "Why didn't you tell me the truth?" He smiled softly, "Because you had already been hurt enough. I wanted you to choose me for who I was, not what you were born into." She cried again. They touched hands through the glass. "I loved you," she whispered. He replied, "I still do." They never spoke again. Mira disappeared from Lagos, changed her name, started a new life, clean, honest, and quiet. But every night she stood by the window, staring at the moon, remembering a man who changed her fate. She didn't know if they would ever meet again, but she carried the lesson forever. Life does not always give you the truth first. Sometimes it gives you pain so you can discover who you truly are. People will lie, betray, manipulate, or even love you the wrong way, but you must never lose yourself trying to understand them. Your past does not define you. Your mistakes do not imprison you. Only your choices can create your destiny. Choose wisely, love carefully, trust slowly, and value yourself deeply. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful African stories filled with lessons, drama, and truth. And tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you were Mira? Your answer might inspire our next story.